The Lord of the Rings trilogy, a timeless masterpiece of fantasy literature, captivates readers and viewers alike with its epic scope, compelling characters, and profound themes. At the heart of the narrative lies the One Ring, an artifact of immense power and corruption. The Fellowship of the Ring is formed to protect and carry it to Mordor, where it can be destroyed. But the journey is fraught with peril, and the ring's seductive influence tests the resolve of even the noblest hearts. One of the most poignant and tragic figures in the Fellowship is Boromir, son of Denethor, the Steward of Gondor. A valiant warrior and a leader of men, Boromir is driven by his love for his people and his desire to protect them from the encroaching darkness. However, his strength is also his weakness, making him vulnerable to the ring's allure. In the climactic scene at Amon Hen, Boromir succumbs to temptation and attempts to seize the ring from Frodo, leading to the Fellowship's dissolution. But what if Boromir had succeeded? What if he had managed to claim the ring and carry it back to Gondor? Exploring this alternate scenario allows us to delve deeper into the intricate web of political intrigue, moral dilemmas, and the corrupting nature of power that Tolkien so masterfully crafted. Greetings all, I am your guide, the Archivist. Today I will look at if Boromir had acquired the ring. Before we begin, please remember to like the like and subscribe waystones down below, so that more people can learn from the archives. If Boromir had secured the ring, his immediate objective would undoubtedly be to return to Minas Tirith and present it to his father. He would believe that the ring could be used to defend Gondor against Sauron's armies, providing the strength needed to turn the tide of the war. Denethor, desperate to save his kingdom, might initially be swayed by Boromir's arguments. He might see the ring as a last resort, a powerful weapon to be wielded against the Shadow. However, the ring's influence would quickly begin to manifest. Boromir, though initially driven by noble intentions, would find his thoughts increasingly consumed by the ring's power. He would become secretive, possessive, and increasingly paranoid. The burden of bearing the ring would weigh heavily on him, twisting his perception and eroding his judgment. Denethor too would not be immune to the ring's influence. He might begin to see himself as the rightful ruler of Middle-earth, destined to usher in a new age of Gondorian dominance. The ring would amplify his existing pride and ambition, leading him down a dangerous path towards tyranny. The details of this corruption would likely unfold gradually, subtly altering their personalities and decisions. Boromir's possession of the ring would have profound consequences for the political landscape of Middle-earth. The alliance between elves, men and dwarves, fragile as it was, would likely crumble. The elves, wise to the ring's corrupting influence, would be deeply distrustful of Gondor's motives. They would withdraw their support, fearing that the ring would ultimately lead to Gondor's downfall. Rohan too would be wary of Gondor's newfound power. King Theoden, having already experienced the insidious influence of Saruman, would recognise the danger posed by the ring. He might be forced to choose between allying with a potentially corrupt Gondor or standing alone against Sauron. The absence of the Fellowship would also have significant ramifications. Without Aragorn, Gandalf and the other members to rally the Free Peoples, the resistance against Sauron would be significantly weakened. Rivendell's remaining power within Middle-earth would feel threatened by Gondor's newfound strength. Sauron, of course, would be keenly aware of Boromir's acquisition of the ring. He would likely shift his focus from finding the ring to corrupting Boromir and bringing Gondor under his dominion. He might send emissaries to Minas Tirith, offering false promises of peace and alliance, all the while subtly manipulating Boromir and Denethor. The War of the Ring would unfold in a drastically different manner if Boromir possessed the ring. Instead of a desperate struggle against overwhelming odds, it might become a more complex and morally ambiguous conflict. Gondor, armed with the ring's power, might initially achieve some victories against Sauron's forces. However, these victories would come at a cost. The ring's use would inevitably corrupt Gondor's armies, turning them into instruments of fear and oppression. The line between good and evil would blur, as Gondor's methods become increasingly ruthless and tyrannical. The very ideals that Boromir sought to defend would be eroded by the ring's influence. Furthermore, the war would very likely escalate into a three-way conflict, with Gondor, Sauron and the remaining Free Peoples vying for control of Middle-earth. The details of these battles would be brutal and devastating, leaving the land scarred and the people broken. Ultimately, Boromir's fate would be sealed by the ring. He might initially believe that he could control its power, but the ring would gradually consume him. He would become a puppet of its will, losing his sense of self and becoming a twisted reflection of his former glory. There are several possible scenarios for Boromir's demise. He might be overthrown by his own people, who would recognise the danger he posed. He might fall in battle against Sauron, his body and soul consumed by the ring's power. Or perhaps more tragically, he might succumb to the ring's influence completely, becoming a new Dark Lord in his own right. Regardless of the specific details of his end, Boromir's story would serve as a cautionary tale about the corrupting nature of power and the dangers of unchecked ambition. He would be remembered not as a hero, but as a tragic figure who ultimately succumbed to the very darkness he sought to defeat. He would be a character stuck between being a noble hero and a fallen tyrant. The what-if scenario of Boromir possessing the ring paints a grim picture for Middle-earth. It suggests that even the best intentions can be twisted by the allure of power, and that the fight against evil is not always a clear-cut battle. It's not always a clear-cut battle between good and bad. The story serves as a reminder that true strength lies not in wielding power, but in resisting its corrupting influence and upholding one's moral values. While Tolkien's original narrative offers a glimmer of hope and a triumph of good over evil, this alternate scenario explores the darker possibilities that lie beneath the surface. It reminds us that the fate of Middle-earth, and perhaps our own world, depends not only on the actions of heroes, but also on the choices we make in the face of temptation, and the strength of our commitment to the details of our moral compass. The story of The Lord of the Rings has always been a deep look into the complexities of life, and imagining a world where Boromir gets the ring gives a stark reminder of this. And so I've now covered the content for this video, but if there's anything that has been missed, please share them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like the like and subscribe waystones down below. Now, until we meet again.